You can't hate Cult of the Lamb unless you're one of those people who thinks it's satanic. In which case, I completely agree with you, and you should probably stop watching this video because this game has everything from blood sacrifices to softcore fairy porn, and it's all packed into cute little animal avatars that make silly, adorable sounds. If anything is going to corrupt your child's mind and make them start a satanic cult of their own, it's gonna be this game. But for the people that are cool with cults, it turns out starting one can be pretty fun, at least according to the Cult of the Lamb. And yet, this game does need a ton of work. For one thing perfectly okay to hate, regardless of how you feel about cults, is this new pseudo early access that is cropping up more and more. Now, I say this as someone who enjoyed the game. It was a good balance between a survival management sim like Don't Starve and a more combat heavy game like Binding of Isaac or Enter the Gungeon. It has a cute aesthetic, it has a little bit of lore, and it has some fun minigames for you to get lost in. It takes around 20 hours to beat, and it costs like 20 bucks. It's a fine game. At the start of the run, you get assigned a melee weapon on one button and a spell assigned to the other. And these spells and weapons can vary as you progress your cult, but there are no combos, there are no heavy attacks, there are no alternate attacks, there are no ranged weapons, and it doesn't matter because the simple gameplay loop of attacking, rolling away, and then rolling back into attack is primal fun. It does give you hope that they might add some of that stuff in the future, and that's what the roadmap's for, right? And your opponents also keep it simple. Most enemy attacks are some form of dashing at you. Sometimes a strike, sometimes a jump, and sometimes a charge. The enemies that don't have melee will normally shoot some sort of projectile at you. It can change, but most of the time it's an orange ball that moves slowly because you're supposed to dodge it. Unlike most things in life, the gameplay works, and since runs are so fast, it's easy to pop in for 10 minutes, finish a run, and then pop out. The devs do know what they are doing, and there are some standout enemies, like that frog that shoots flies at you. Sure, it's basically a reskin of the other frogs, but that extra flavor in the projectiles of plague flies makes it the perfect example of what every enemy should be. Now for the cult manager portion of the game. It's pretty good. It's mostly a farm simulator, with some tasks needing to be done by hand until you level up enough, and then things get pretty automated. It's a nice little loop that you can break up with some mini games like fishing or knuckle dice, and also some secrets. Leveling up your cult and learning new rituals does give your cult a sense of personality, albeit a small one. Ultimately, I wanted to have a little bit more choice over the aesthetic. However, realistically, there's enough decorations here that it should make the average Animal Crossing fan pretty happy. I just wish they were distributed better. It does not feel good to beat a hard boss and get rewarded with like 5 wood in a new path. And I really can't help but wish for a little bit more interactivity between you and your base. Most structures are to be used by cult members, not by you. Luckily, all these pain points don't really seem that big because it's really only half of their game. Get bored of combat? Build your cult. Get bored of smooching your spouse? Go kill something. The game's pacing is so solid and so fast that there is always something that you can be doing, and you can happily get your money's worth out of the game as is. The problem is that it didn't launch as is. It launched as a broken mess. Cults on consoles could only have like 6 people in their church, which made growth seem pointless. I got soft locked for around 3 hours on Switch, and countless other problems still happen. Just go look at the Reddit and see all the glitch posts. Is it unplayable? No. It just results in an okay game that feels like it's a few adjustments away from being really addictive. But is any of that coming? Well, I don't know. I'm sure some patches will fix the glitches, but it really makes you wonder how done a game truly is when it's launched. Because when Cult of the Lamb launched, it launched with a roadmap section, which only 3 kinds of games do. The first is big AAA games with hundreds of shitty DLCs. The second is live service games. And the third is early access games. And I don't see any online multiplayer in Cult of the Lamb, and it sure as shit didn't cost $70. So this game must be some form of early access. In fact, it's so early access that its frickin' roadmap doesn't even have a roadmap. And this isn't the first time that I've seen this sort of thing happen. And it's even affecting indies like Weird West, which was coincidentally also published by Devolver Digital. As part of their post-game content, Weird West patched in a new aiming mode and changed up a ton of their major game systems. And hey, at least Weird West launched with theirs, and they're doing timed live events, so it does give the whole system some point. But Cult of the Lamb launching with an unavailable roadmap makes you ask a few questions. At what point does free DLC really mean content that was cut from the game so it could make a launch date? And are we ever going to get the Twitch exclusive skins that are only available for popular streamers? Are those going to cost money like the other DLCs? And why not just release this game as early access like so many other indies do? More importantly, does any of this matter? Does it matter since this game is playable, beatable, and still decent despite not pushing the envelope? No, it doesn't really, because you can play this game and still have fun with it. But I, Jonathan Rosenblum, head game critic at Tibbs TV, hate seeing roadmaps on finished games. Announce your DLC with classic marketing campaigns, you cowards, because a roadmap means nothing.